What's up? I'm Sam Caudle with Legit Agents and LPT Realty. Today, kind of a unique video. I actually want to share with you why I left eXp Realty after 5 years. And before it even pops into your head that non-producers are the ones that leave brokerages like this, it's not true. Here's my Icon Award for 2023, and the one for 2024 is on its way right now. Actually, after I left, I got the email that it was just shipped. And not just one of these for my team, but 2 of these for my team here in the Tampa area. That's what we're talking about. A high producing agent leaving eXp Realty and the actual pain points associated with leaving. Now, and just a little bit about me, I'm not typically the person to dwell on all the negatives or really spread them. But these things are super important for you as realtors or someone that's looking to get into real estate, as things you should know. Because even as a top producing agent, like we were literally #1 in the state of Florida in January for the whole brokerage, there were still major pain points that we experienced. So it's not just that top producers get better treatment. No, it's not that some of the systems just don't work that well. And if you're considering different brokerages or you're at eXp and you're considering leaving, I want you to know these things, because as we've moved over to LPT Realty and quite a few agents have joined us at LPT Realty right away, we found that there's a lot of common pain points with eXp Realty, not just in Florida, but across the country. Okay, let's start with managing brokers. Now, for a cloud-based brokerage, which I love this model, there's a lot of managing brokers in a state like Florida. I think for eXp Florida, we have 5. At one point, I think we had 8. What the managing brokers do is they assist all the agents on their work. They oversee it. They make sure it's compliant with the state, the real estate commission, all those kind of things. And all of their agents are independent contractors. So we're not employees, neither are they employees. It's more of a client-based relationship. And because of that, because my work makes them money and I can take my license everywhere, a certain level of experience, a certain level of care is certainly expected. #1 issue here with the brokerage support is it's never clear who to talk to. Now, eXp built out a big virtual world, eXp world, which for the most part does what it needs to do. But sometimes I just need to pick up the phone and call a broker and get a very straightforward answer on something. Now, after doing a few hundred deals with eXp Realty, we're pretty good at knowing who to call and pretty good at saving managing brokers' phone numbers so that we can just call them directly and ask our question. Now, we're kind of going around their system every time we do that, but we're just trying to take care of our clients. But what became the bigger issue with this is we would get differing answers from different managing brokers about contractual compliance or dates and deadlines or things like that. And maybe you don't need help with those kind of things and you've got it all figured out, but there are still situations where you need to touch base with your broker and you need to make sure you did that one little thing right, because every deal is very different, especially as you get into a more unique market like we're in right now in 2025. All right, issue #2 we had with eXp Realty over the past few years was payment issues. Now, every brokerage is trying to solve the problem of how can I get my agents paid faster. Now, sometimes we would get paid quickly, and ours went through the team and they got divided. So understandably, it takes a little bit more time for the team leader to get paid. I understand that. The inexcusable part was just constant mistakes on CDA. So the CDA is the commission distribution. So like this is the document that goes from the broker to the title company and to us to show exactly how much the broker is getting paid and how much we're getting paid, like as if we're getting paid at the closing table. So 2 big issues with the CDAs specifically. #1, they got sent out way too soon. So we had to create our own check and balance with the transaction department of, hey, please send this to us before you send it to the title company. It just kept getting very confusing whenever it was slightly off and we would make a correction because they wouldn't read the file all the way and get the commission exactly right, or didn't put in the transaction fee or those kind of things. So we had to build our own system to check their system, which we were frustrated by, but it was a solution for the time. Then leading up to our departure from eXp Realty, there were 7 transactions in a row where mistakes were made on the CDA and it was closed. Then we were invoiced after the fact for those mistakes. Now, if this happens occasionally, obviously not a big deal. People are people, we make mistakes, I make mistakes. But when it happened again and again, they would send us an invoice for $700 or something because they overpaid us. It is literally their job to make sure this happens smoothly, and it just didn't feel smooth anymore. These first two issues, the broker support and contact and the payment issues, are issues I've heard about happening all over the country with eXp Realty. Okay, number 3 reason why I left eXp Realty is because of the lack of marketing support. Now they're cloud-based, I don't expect a whole lot, but there is just very little available at all. All of it is also pay to play. So if you want to run an ad, if you want to get something printed, maybe there's some deals that are negotiated for you. But when we started looking at the competition, there are just things that are provided by being part of this brokerage that eXp was nowhere near providing. And the reality is, for most people, for most agents, and for most people that have a brand that is their own, if you're looking at just using templates that your broker provides, they need to be really good for you to even use those and use their printer. Otherwise, I would just go to a designer myself, or I would buy nicer templates myself and go to the printer myself. So it wasn't actually helping me at all by using what they provided. All right, number 4 reason I left eXp, sinking stock. Now this is actually a pretty big reason, because as an Icon agent, you're incentivized with stock awards. When I joined eXp in April of 2021, the share price was $45 per share. So excited, I'm gonna close a bunch of deals, I'm gonna get these stock awards. This is a valuable company. Currently, and I just checked this, the stock is trading at $7.68 per share. And the market cap has gone way, way down. It's even estimated that it could go below $1 billion, which for a company this size is something's off. All right, reason number 5 is the focus on rev share. eXp Realty makes it very clear that, hey, if you recruit agents and you get them under you and they're producing, you can stop selling houses. The dream they're selling is, hey, I know you sell houses right now, but let me show you how you can build this big organization under you and never sell houses again. As long as all the people below you still sell houses, you'll be a millionaire. It's just kind of an odd dream to sell, and it's so clear that that's their biggest focus. And one of the reasons it's so clear is because every time they host a conference, that is the majority of the speakers are people that are out of production and are wealthy through revenue share. Now, I'm not saying revenue share is bad or anything like that. I was actually building a downline at eXp Realty, and now I'm building one at LPT Realty. It is definitely something that a lot of agents will pursue. But when that is the main thing that is talked about in conferences, in trainings, on stage, in emails, in social media by the brokerage, the agent that's high producing starts to feel kind of alienated. They feel like, I'm making this company all this money and they're just telling me that I need to be a recruiter. When the recruiters don't even make money if there's not producers under them selling a bunch of houses. So it started to just feel really confusing, honestly. So one of the things they did to fix that, and this is reason number 6, is eXp 2.0. This is Rev Share 2.0. So agents like me, Icon agents, as soon as I hit Icon, all 7 levels of my revenue share potential open up. Great for me. All of a sudden, I got a little bit more revenue share, but it took it from somebody else, because the pool of revenue share, the amount of money that agents pay in when they pay in their cap, half of that goes to revenue share. That pool didn't get bigger. It just got distributed to more people. So all of a sudden, people at the top, the 40 people that have the most agents under them, were super mad because this money came from them. So this cultural shift in the brokerage now took the people that you promote the most and put on the stage the most, and now they're mad at the brokerage and they're critical of all these things. And it just created this very strange narrative throughout the whole brokerage for the past year. On top of this, and speaking of these uplines, there's a lot of people above you when you join a brokerage like this. You can see all the layers of people above you. At eXp Realty, you join a specific upline because of the value they add to you. Now, maybe you have a relationship, so you're like, I'm joining this person no matter what. But typically, people are testing out different uplines to see who gives the most stuff, who gives systems and training and ad templates and all this kind of stuff. We had YouTube courses and we have our own CRM. We have all this stuff we could offer to a downline. But what it did is it created like an us versus them, like which one's the best. And as we look back at this, we refer to these as silos. And this kind of silo, like cliquish mentality exists all the way across eXp, where it's constantly people asking like, wait, what upline are you in? Like it's kind of this thing of like, well, what do you get if you're with Wolfpack or Honey Badgers or GoGo, or like, what do you get? Like all these different lines have created this competition against each other. So next thing that came in was co-sponsorship, to where you could sign up in 2 uplines and get the offering of 2 different ones. But don't make the mistake of choosing the wrong one or the wrong 2, because you can't change. You can leave for 6 months and come back and declare a new sponsor. That's a headache in and of itself. But the overall cultural impact of these silos is just not great. So, for example, and we'll get into a little bit about LPT Realty in this video, not much, but at LPT Realty, you can't offer a specific thing for free to your downline if you don't offer it to the rest of the brokerage. Very literally, if I said, hey, Aaron, if you join my downline, I'll give you my CRM for free, I would have to extend that offer to anyone else at LPT Realty that asked for my CRM. And that is a cultural decision, leadership decision across the board at LPT Realty to avoid any kind of silos. We don't need our people necessarily competing against each other. We want them to collaborate with each other. And at eXp, it's the opposite. Now, maybe somewhere up in the top, they wish people would collaborate, but maybe the ship's just too big to turn. It would take money from too many other people's pockets if they were to make that change at this point. Those people that were upset by eXp 2.0, imagine if silos were cut off and you couldn't have a specific offering to your downline, what would they do then? Okay, and the final 2 things here, while at eXp and while looking to build a downline, even while running my own business and building my own business and brand, I mostly had to build systems outside of eXp to accomplish everything. Whether that was CRM, websites, marketing materials, ads, all these kind of things had to be built outside. Now, I'm not saying that is in itself a problem, but if your brokerage is saying that they have everything you need, they might not. Now, I'm not necessarily saying I couldn't have built my business with the tools provided. They just weren't as good. Having to use SkySlope for digital signatures instead of dot loop, having to use, KV Core as your CRM instead of multiple other options, having to build websites or, ClickFunnels or automation campaigns, all those kind of things. You could either do it within their system or you have to go build your own. We elected to build our own. Now, there's no regret actually in building our own because we've developed it into this great product that helps a lot of agents do a lot more business. But when you look at everything that eXp offers you for that $85 a month monthly fee, I was using one of those things because I had to. SkySlope was being used by my transaction coordinator because that's where the deals get approved, but none of the other things was I even using. Okay, and lastly, every time we would onboard an agent with eXp Realty, it was the same problem. Why do I have so many logins? Like, I don't understand how all these systems connect to each other. And yes, there is one place where you can access all these. eXp Enterprise, you use a single sign-on that works on a couple other platforms, but not all of them. You use this one sign-on and you can launch to all the other platforms. So you can get to them from one location, but they're still all kind of scattered and you don't quite know where to go unless you're in that system all the time. But the job of a realtor isn't to be in that system all the time. The job of a realtor is to be out helping buyers and sellers, be out closing transactions. That's how the company makes money. That's how all those Rev Share people make money, is by you closing deals. So the systems didn't serve the agent. I actually don't know who they serve. Okay, so those are the biggest pain points I had while at eXp Realty, but let me talk a little bit about LPT Realty, and we have other videos explaining why LPT Realty makes sense for us and why it makes sense for a lot of other agents. Number 1 though was the compensation options. At eXp Realty, you're stuck in the 80-20 split. You get 80% of your commission until you cap out at $16,000. Yes, there are ways to earn that cap back in stock and in awards, but remember that stock has been sinking since I've been here. So at LPT Realty, you have the traditional split, very similar to the eXp, the 80-20 caps at $15,000 at LPT. And then you have a 100% commission model where you pay a flat fee until that caps at $5,000. There are differences in like what you can earn and awards you can get, and link to another video explaining those things right up here. Also at LPT Realty, there's no monthly fee. At eXp, there's a $85 monthly fee. There's a $150 startup fee as well. None of that at LPT. At LPT, you can just pay to use what you want. If you need an IDX site, you pay the activation fee. If you want to use Lofty, that's included. If you want to use KV Core, there's an activation fee and a monthly fee. If you want to use Follow Up Boss, that's available. If you want to use Dot Loop, that's free. If you want to use Skyslope, that's an activation fee. Like it's kind of pick and choose what you want, pay for what you actually use. In addition to that, there's programs like LPT Plus, also a video linked up above explaining that. LPT Plus creates a package of a lot of these things for $89 a month if you're in the Brokerage Partner program, and it's $149 a month if you're in the Business Builder model. So this creates kind of a package of things that you can buy. If you were buying these otherwise, this is a huge discount on them. Things like Real Scout, things like a cash offer platform, personalized cards, some zip code based leads, things like that. Super cool. Another thing that you can pay for as you go is marketing. For example, I have a luxury listing coming up. I wanted to upgrade the marketing to be more of a luxury feel. I was able to upgrade all of the marketing to that look and feel and include digital ads in it and all those kind of things for just $600 for this listing. Now this is a $2 million listing, so it's definitely worth it to spend more money on printed materials for this level of listing. But all that is purchased just right within the LPT Connect platform. Super cool. One thing about LPT Realty that's there in the name, Listing Power Tools, is the Listing Power Tools Power Pack that you get for every single listing. This is marketing that's printed and shipped to you super, super fast. It includes a sign writer. There's video also linked above explaining everything that's in the Power Pack. But it's completely free with every single listing. You do have to pay for shipping. For me, that costs $25 per box. But you get a voucher for each listing. It makes the price $0, and then shipping is just added on there at the end. Okay, one of the next reasons that LPT Realty was the better option for me right now is the stock awards. Because I am a producing agent, I feel funny raising this up again and again, but I want to hammer home the point of, if you're going to incentivize me with stock awards, make sure they're really good. Make sure the stock is really good and those kind of things. But LPT Realty has developed a badge system where you get a certain amount of shares when you close your first deal, a certain amount when you close your third and your 12th and that kind of thing. When you get to 35 deals, as long as you're in the traditional split program, when you get to 35 deals, you earn what's called a black badge, where you get like 2,000 shares and you have the opportunity to co-invest with the brokerage up to $15,000 into marketing. So say you want to do a big direct mail campaign. You can now, if you invest $15,000, LPT Realty will also invest $15,000 into that marketing plan. Super cool. It incentivizes producers to get to that level so that the brokerage can then help them get to another level or duplicate that level again. It helps the agent be the agent. I love it. It's agent first. Now, I've heard the criticism that the shares don't mean anything, the company's not public. The company is going public in 2026, and the founder and the executives have been traveling all over telling the investor story. It is already set to go public with, very specific banks already backing it, the big name banks that you would think of. All right, another thing that stood out to me about LPT Realty is in-person training events. Now, luckily I'm in Tampa. Their headquarters is just outside of Orlando, so it's not far from me, but they host monthly one-day trainings and then quarterly mastermind kind of events, and they have a couple other cheaper conferences. They have a big conference that's, $1,000 a ticket. It's at a resort. The hotel rooms are expensive. They realized that was not accessible enough for the average agent. So what they did is they made 2 other small events that are at the headquarters for $200 a ticket, and there's a hotel within walking distance that's $100 a night. So what they've really done is they've merged this cloud-based with the in-person, because that's what a lot of people in cloud-based miss. They think, oh, it's fine, it's digital, we'll interact on what Facebook and in trainings, and no, it doesn't happen the way that people think. So a lot of people have left cloud-based brokerages to join brick and mortar brokerages so that they can go to that team meeting and those kind of things and collaborate with agents a little more seamlessly. LPT Realty is trying to merge the two with having more of these in-person trainings, and I think that's super, super cool. I'm actually really excited. I'll be speaking on a panel at the LPT Plus Mastermind next month at the headquarters. So just super fun to see this community grow in this way, in person and online. Okay, and lastly, LPT Realty's support system, it just works a little bit better for me than eXp's did. So eXp, there's obviously people to email, there's brokers to contact. You go into eXp world and you can take a digital virtual ticket and talk to somebody eventually. And that process works if you're at your desk and you can go through the process. But like I said, the company makes money when we're out there selling houses and not sitting at our desks. So it's hard to always be there to do that. With LPT Realty, you go into LPT Connect and you submit a support ticket and ask a specific question. Now somebody gets back to you. You also can just call the brokerage office. They have broker admin support. You'll have the broker's specific contact information when you join. All those things are just a little more seamless, and LPT is right now at 20,000 agents. Those systems will grow and grow and grow to support the agents. Just like the power packs. Let me go back to the power packs real quick, because the power packs are so accessible because the founder of LPT, Robert Palmer, has invested in these print shops over the past decade. He has multiple print shops around the US that has built this infrastructure for agents. So what this proves is actually he knows how to build the infrastructure to support agents. Now, he's mostly done it at a marketing level, and now he's doing it at a support level. And it honestly does work. Now, each state and each person has nuances, and that's gonna be the same at every brokerage, and I understand that. But it's still a very robust support system where people are very accessible. All right, that's eXp Realty, LPT Realty, why I left eXp and joined LPT Realty, why I'm super excited about it. If you're interested in a one-on-one conversation just to hear a bit more about the other nuances of LPT Realty and how it could help you achieve your version of success, I'd love to hop on a Zoom call with you. You can book a call down in the description, and there's a QR code right there on the screen. And there'll be a QR code at the end screen too. And check out some of our other videos. If you want to learn about LPT Plus, that's linked right up here. And if you want to learn just kind of the basic power pack, what's in the power pack, that video is linked right over here. All right, see you guys later.